Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. The President, Vice President and the Prime Minister greet the nation on Dussehra, functions organized across the country to celebrate the victory of good over evil. Nine people injured in a grenade attack on a paramilitary party in South Kashmir's Shopian district. Curfew clamped in some places of the valley as a precautionary measure. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat addresses Cadre on the 91st Foundation Day of the RSS, praises the Indian Armed Forces for the surgical strikes in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Pakistani journalist barred from leaving his country. His report in the Dawn newspaper claimed that the Nawaz Sharif government told the ISI that support for terrorists was leaving the country isolated. And in Indore, India complete a series whitewash against New Zealand by winning the third test. Ashwin stars once again by claiming 7 wickets to seal the victory by 321 runs. Our top story this evening, the ongoing encounter in Jammu and Kashmir's Pampore district entered the second day on Tuesday after the security forces launched a fresh offensive to flush out terrorists holed up inside a government building. The terrorists, believed to be 2 or 3 in number, had taken control of the 7-storied building on Monday. Meanwhile, 9 people were injured in a grenade attack on a paramilitary patrol party in South Kashmir's Shopian district.
24 hours after it started, security personnel were engaged in a joint operation to flush out terrorists holed up inside a government building in Kashmir's Pampore district. All through the night, loud explosions, gunfire and smoke were reported from the Entrepreneurship Development Institute building. Two to 3 terrorists reportedly sneaked inside the 7-storied structure on Monday. The army cordoned off areas around the building. An army soldier was injured in the encounter. According to reports, the terrorists could have entered the complex after arriving on boats on the Jhelum River that flows into Pakistan.
This is a part of series of actions being undertaken by the terrorists who had crossed over earlier, who had been pushed across earlier by the Pakistanis. These terrorists had taken shelter in different parts of the valley, and after our cross-border surgical strike, they were given instructions to carry out different operations. So, they want to hit us back. So, Pampore is a part of that, and all these series of attacks, Handwara, etc., were a part of that.
In another incident, at least 9 people were injured in a grenade attack on a CRPF patrol party in Shopian district of South Kashmir. The injured included 2 security personnel and 7 civilians. The militants behind the attack escaped while a search operation is on to capture them. Curfew was enforced in the interior areas of Srinagar as precautionary measure to maintain law and order. Normal life was affected for the 95th day in a row as businesses remained closed and people stayed indoors in response to a shutdown called by separatists. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Modi is celebrating Dussehra in Lucknow today. The entire city has been decked up to give the Prime Minister a warm welcome. The Ashbagh Ramleela ground, where the Prime Minister will address a Dussehra rally, has been turned into a fortress. Massive security is in place to prevent any untoward incident. Opposition parties, however, see the visit as a politically motivated one. Taking a dig at the Prime Minister, UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav had said on Monday that Modi would have visited Bihar had the state been facing elections like Uttar Pradesh. BSP Supremo Mayawati and Congress have also accused the Prime Minister of politicizing the surgical strikes for political gains.
किस रूपक में अपने आप को ढाल कर जा रहे हैं मैं इसके बारे में तो नहीं जानता, लेकिन अभी तक यही रहा है कि प्रधानमंत्री जो हैं जब भी रहे, जब से हमने होश संभाला है, हमने दिल्ली की रामलीला में उनको देखा है। हमें अच्छा लगता इस तरह से वो कहते हैं कि हर त्योहार वो जो है वो ऐसी जगहों पे मनाते हैं। आज कश्मीर जल रहा है, और जिस वक्त वो दिवाली मनाने कश्मीर में गए थे, तो अगर आज वो दशहरा मनाने कश्मीर में जाते तो सही माने में आज हमारे सैनिकों का सम्मान होता।
When the Prime Minister went to Jammu and Kashmir to celebrate his first Diwali after assuming office, the opposition did not ask then as to why you went to Jammu and Kashmir to apply balm to the people there. When the Prime Minister went to Siachen to in fact be with the Jawans of Siachen, the opposition did not ask then as to why the Prime Minister was in Siachen, whether there was an election in Siachen or not. So today when Prime Minister is going to Uttar Pradesh in a historic move, why is the opposition questioning? This only shows the sense of insecurity dwelling within the hearts of opposition parties.
And political leaders attended the Dasara festivities at various functions in the national capital, New Delhi. President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and Congress President Sonia Gandhi were among the guests at the Red Fort Foregrounds, which is organizing its 93rd edition of the Ram Leela this year. Now, the RSS also celebrated Vijay Dashmi as well as its Foundation Day on Tuesday. Sangh Chief Mohan Bhagwat addressed workers in Nagpur, speaking on a wide range of issues including Kashmir, caste issues, cow protection and vigilantism. He also lauded the Indian Army for the surgical strikes on terrorist camps across the LOC.
The 91st Foundation Day of the RSS witnessed a sartorial transformation. Sangh workers donned brown trousers instead of the age-old khaki shorts at the organization's Foundation Day celebrations in Nagpur. Sangh Chief Mohan Bhagwat too sported the new uniform, heralding a generational change in the right-wing organization. Delivering his customary annual address, Bhagwat spoke on a number of issues, starting with Kashmir and cross-border terror. He lauded the Indian Armed Forces for the recent surgical strikes in Pak-occupied Kashmir.
शासन के नेतृत्व में हमारे सेना ने जो साहस दिखाया है, शौर्यपूर्वक जो काम यशस्वी करके दिखाया है, फिर एक बार पूरी दुनिया में भारत के सेना की प्रतिष्ठा ऊंची हो गई, भारत देश की प्रतिष्ठा ऊंची हो गई और उपद्रवी को संकेत मिला कि सहन करने की भी मर्यादा होती है.
Praising the Modi government, Bhagwat said there was no doubt that India has been moving forward for the last 2 years.
अभी जो शासन चल रहा है वो काम करने वाला है, उदासीन रहने वाला नहीं. और जो कुछ योजनाएं उनकी चली है, करने के लिए अपेक्षाएं बहुत है और बहुत कुछ होने को बाकी है. फिर भी जिस ढंग से चले हैं, कुछ करेंगे ऐसा विश्वास और अपना देश अच्छा हो सकता है ऐसा विश्वास समाज के मन में पैदा हुआ है और देश धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ रहा है. इस बात को कोई नहीं नकारता.
Bhagwat, however, differed with the Prime Minister's views on Gorakshaks. He asserted that cow vigilantes were good people who were merely calling for the protection of the animal.
जो लोग कुछ उपद्रव करते हैं ऐसे विषयों को लेकर, उनके साथ गौरक्षा करने वालों की तुलना हो नहीं सकती. उन दोनों को अलग करके देखना चाहिए. ऐसा न देखते हुए बवंडर खड़े करने का शक्तियों का प्रयास है, उपद्रवी शक्तियों का प्रयास है. उसके झांसे में न आते हुए संविधान सम्मत, विज्ञान सम्मत, परंपरा सम्मत और देश के लिए, देश की जनता के लिए सर्वथा लाभकारी गौ सेवा का, गौ रक्षा का काम करने वालों को उसके नाम पर उपद्रव करने वालों से अलग करके देखना पड़ेगा.
Amid the spate of attacks on Dalits and minorities across the country, allegedly in the name of cow protection, a few months ago the Prime Minister had said that most of the so-called cow protectors were in fact anti-social elements. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, ahead of Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to India to take part in the BRICS summit in Goa, Chinese experts are calling India's move to completely seal its border with Pakistan an irrational decision. The Chinese daily Global Times quoted members of leading think tanks stating that the move will further complicate India-China relations. Hu Zhiyong, a research fellow of the Shanghai Academy, said that a completely sealed border will affect the already scarce border trade between the two countries. Wang Dewa, another expert, said a sealed border will further disrupt peace efforts made by the two sides. Chinese experts, however, agree that the resolution of the Kashmir dispute is in the interest of China's internal security, especially in the western regions. During his visit later this week, the Chinese president is expected to meet Prime Minister Modi. Now, India is pitching for greater access to Chinese markets to arrest the burgeoning trade deficit. Commerce and Industry Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Monday underscored the need to find sustainable ways to address India-China trade imbalance. Sitharaman also raised the issue of trade imbalance with China's designated ambassador to India.
As Chinese President Xi Jinping appointed Luo Zhaoyi as China's new ambassador to India, the government was quick to flag the issue of bloated trade deficit between the two countries. Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman asserted that Indian exporters are exporting to China via Vietnam in order to bypass official restrictions in China.
Many of our exports are now being routed via Vietnam, which is not really the thing. If exports to China should happen, it should happen directly from India to China.
India has been unsuccessfully pushing for more access to the Chinese market for its goods, but the huge trade imbalance has only worsened over the years. India's trade deficit with China has surged to $44.7 billion during the period of April-January 2015-16. Exports from India to China stood at $7.56 billion during the April-January period, whereas imports have increased to $52.26 billion during the period.
Several IT companies who have established business in China, but whose operations are lagging behind schedule because permissions are not given easily, inspections are happening over and over again. Then Indian banks which are there trying to help Indian exporters are not given operational freedom.
The commerce ministries of both the countries have signed a 5-year development program for economic and trade cooperation in September 2014 to lay down a medium-term roadmap for promoting balanced and sustainable development of economic and trade relations. India needs to make continued efforts to increase the share of its exports to China in order to avert a piling up of trade deficit. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for us to take a short break, but as we head into that break, we leave you with visuals of the Dussehra celebrations at Subhash Maidan, Ramlila Grounds.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates some message of wisdom.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervor dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Some more national news updates now in Nationwide. The Central Vigilance Commission has declined to share details on the cases of alleged corruption in the execution of the multi-crore Commonwealth Games-related project, saying it will disproportionately divert its resources. The Commonwealth Games, which were held in 2010, were marred by allegations of corruption. Various agencies like CBI and ED are looking into the cases of alleged graft in the mega sporting event. The Shiv Sena has disowned the action leading to the recent unceremonious ouster of actor Nawazuddin Siddiqui from a Ramleela in his hometown Budana in western Uttar Pradesh. Party's Yuva Sena President Aditya Thackeray clarified on Twitter that his party does not endorse the reason why he was prevented from acting in the Ramleela. The Tamil Nadu police have arrested 2 people and registered 43 cases in connection with posting of malicious and false content on social media about Jayalalitha's health. The police have also warned of stern action against those spreading rumours about the Chief Minister's health. Special teams have been constituted to investigate such cases. Jayalalitha was admitted to Apollo Hospital in Chennai on September 22nd after she complained of fever and dehydration. Now, a prominent Pakistani journalist has been barred from leaving the country after he reported about a suspected rift between the civilian and the military leaderships. Cyril Almira, a reporter for the Dawn newspaper, had reported that during a crucial meeting, the Nawaz Sharif government had told the ISI that its support for terrorist groups was leaving the country globally isolated. Following the report, Almira has been put on the exit control list, a system of border control maintained by the Pakistan government, which allows it to bar people from leaving the country. Almira told the world about the control measure in a tweet where he said he was puzzled and saddened, but he had no intention of going anywhere as Pakistan was his home. On 6th October, Almira had reported that the civilian government has told the military leadership of a growing international isolation of Pakistan due to alleged support for militancy. The Pakistan government has thrice denied the story since, with the foreign ministry terming it as speculative. On Monday, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had ordered authorities to take stern actions against those responsible for publishing the fabricated story. Almira being put on the list is being viewed as an attack on the freedom of press in Pakistan.
It's a serious thing because, after all, it's a direct attack from the Prime Minister of Pakistan on freedom of press. And this needs to be taken seriously by journalists worldwide and fought back, because the kind of stories we'd heard about press being given freedom in Pakistan, they were given relative freedom. But I think it's back to usual, back to the normal practice of which happens in Pakistan, where that any sort of dissent, especially in the media, is going to be muzzled.
This is not for the first time in Pakistan that some journalists have been detained in Pakistan or is forced to write what they want to write, because you see, in Pakistan since 70 years the democratical setup has not flourished due to all these things, because you have not given freedom of press to the print and electronic media.
The action against the journalist establishes 2 things. The first thing which it establishes is the veracity of the report itself. This shows that what was reported in Dawn was correct. And in fact, the background also makes it clear that this Dawn report was correct. The civilian government has been uncomfortable for a long time with the actions of the army and the ISI in supporting, giving shelter to and supporting terrorists.
Now, Samsung Electronics has halted the production of its smartphone Galaxy Note 7 due to consumer safety concerns. Samsung has told owners to stop using the smartphones and has also asked all global carriers to stop sales while it investigates reports of fires, fueling speculation that the company could scrap the flagship device. The news resulted in the shares of the company to plunge down 8% on Tuesday. The company will begin product exchanges and refunds for the Note 7 smartphones in South Korea starting October 13th. Samsung's decision to pull Note 7s off the shelves for the second time in less than 2 months raises fresh doubts about the firm's quality control, which could affect its finance and reputation.
저도 이 제품을 구매를 하려고 했었고 삼성을 대표하는 어떤 플래그십 모델이었는데 완성도가 좀 미흡하다 보니까 이런 부분이 구매 예정자로서 많이 좀 아쉽고요. 사실 이런 부족한 부분을 빨리 보완을 해서 다시 좀 출시가 재개됐으면 하는 바람이 있습니다.
Time now for a quick roundup of all the international news and global buzz. China's foreign ministry on Tuesday dismissed its Uyghur advocate Ilham Tohti's prestigious Human Rights Award in Beijing. The Chinese academic was jailed for 2 years, jailed for life, in fact, 2 years ago for campaigning for the rights of the Muslim Uyghur people. He was selected from 3 finalists for the Martin Ennals Award. The foreign ministry, however, said Tohti's crimes were clear and had nothing to do with human rights. South Korea warned on Tuesday of using greater force, including firearms, against Chinese boats fishing illegally in its waters and summoned China's ambassador to protest against a clash between a Chinese vessel and a Coast Guard boat. The Chinese boat allegedly rammed a patrol boat last week and fled the scene. Meanwhile, China said it was still investigating the incident. ISIS on Monday confirmed the death of its propaganda chief, confirming an earlier Pentagon report which said he was killed in a US-led airstrike in Syria's Raqqa province last month. A statement posted online by the terror group paid tribute to Abu Muhammad al-Furqan. He was reportedly the Minister of Information, overseeing the group's propaganda and also a prominent member of its Shura Council. A girl was rescued from the rubble after a residential building collapsed in China's Wenzhou city. She was the only one to be found alive, and it was all thanks to her parents who protected her as the building fell on early on Monday. Both the parents died sheltering the girl with their bodies. The girl is said to be in a stable condition with only minor injuries. Time for us to take a short break. We'll be right back with lots more.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Some sports now, and India completed a 3-0 whitewash against New Zealand, winning the Indore test by a massive 321 runs. It was a big victory for the hosts as they bundled out New Zealand for 153 in their second innings on day 4 of the third and final match of the series. Ravichandran Ashwin's 21st 5-wicket haul guided India to the win, their second biggest in terms of margin. Chasing a massive 475 to win, New Zealand succumbed to Ashwin's career best 7 for 59 to fall for 153 in the final session. With Trent Bolt's return catch to Ashwin in the stipulated final over of the day, the bowler finished with his career best match figures of 13 for 140. Ashwin was on top of his game throughout the match. Luke Ronchi, Michelle Santna and Jitan Patel all fell to Ashwin, while his partner in destruction, Ravindra Jadeja, sent off the first innings top scorers Martin Guptill and James Neesham.
चलिए इसी के साथ सिमटी पारी इस टेस्ट सीरीज को जीत लिया है प्रदर्शन.
I'd like to thank the crowd of Indore who came in large numbers and supported us. It felt like the test match of the 90s and 2000s where I used to go and watch test matches. Where you had to work hard, be patient and bowl good lines. There was a little bit of help outside the off stump due to the left armer's foot marks. The second innings, obviously, they helped with a few big shots. Yes, I feel really good about myself. I've been bowling really well and my confidence is really sky high.
Now a roundup of all the other sports action in Sports Beat. Tiger Woods has withdrawn from this week's Safeway Open tournament, delaying his comeback once again. Woods announced that his game was not sharp enough for him to compete in the PGA Tour event that starts on Thursday. The 14-time major champion will also not play in the European Tour's Turkish Airlines Open in November. 40-year-old Woods said the comeback delay was not due to back-related issues. England captain Wayne Rooney will sit on the substitute bench for the 2018 World Cup qualifier against Slovenia Tuesday night. The 30-year-old was dropped following a mediocre performance in England's 2-0 win against Malta on Saturday. Although he joined the rest of the team in training on Monday evening, Rooney later said he respected the interim manager, Gareth Southgate's decision. Jordan Henderson would take over from Rooney to captain England against Slovenia. An injury to Lionel Messi and suspensions of its defenders have created some serious problems for Argentina ahead of Tuesday night's World Cup qualifier against Paraguay. Messi, who missed the 2-2 draws against Venezuela and Peru with a groin injury, looks set to return for his club Barcelona at the weekend. Nicolas Keatain will stand in for Messi on the right side of the attack. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.